This weekend brought us a vision of the future, one of the most hyped recruits in years, the #1 quarterback in the class of 2023, according to 24/7 Sports. You might have heard his last name before. Arch Manning comes from football royalty. He's at the top of that wish list for many major programs. And this weekend, Clemson and coach Dabo Swinney made the most of Manning on campus. He appeared to have the goods to prove worthy of that high-profile last name. So will he join this list of Clemson greats? He got names like Trevor Lawrence. Lawrence, a five-star recruit, was #1 ranked quarterback in his class. Another five-star recruit, your current Clemson quarterback as well. We're going to welcome in the director of recruiting for 24/7 Sports, Steve Wiltfong. So not only does he have the name, but the talent level of Arch Manning is something to truly get excited about. What are you hearing about his Clemson visit?
Hey, good morning. I think that Clemson set the tone for what a visit school and football program should look like to Arch Manning. This is a young man that has been on some college campuses in the past. He's been to Ole Miss, of course. He's participated in some team activities with Isidore Newman over at LSU. But this was his first ever college visit as a prospect because of the pandemic, obviously, and he goes to Clemson, and I think him and his family had an outstanding experience. They were on campus for about 26 hours, and it was action-packed. They got a chance to, well, first, Arch Manning had to go and earn his scholarship offer. Dabo Swinney and his staff, they don't offer you unless they get a chance to see you work out in person and meet you. And so Arch Manning checked those boxes from a performance standpoint and a standpoint of fitting Clemson's culture. And I think that was something that excited him, too, that he had to go out there and earn it. And he competed extremely hard at the camp, running around, first front of the line type guy, and so had a terrific showing there. And Clemson hosted some of the top quarterbacks in the country this weekend. And for Arch Manning to earn the offer tells you what Coach Swinney and company thought about him as a player. But he got a chance to hang out on Memorial Stadium's field. Of course, him and his family got to touch Howard's Rock. They got a chance to, or Arch got a chance to hang out with some of the players and ask them questions about their experience at Clemson so far. And him and his parents and his brother got a chance to hang out with some of the coaches and their families and get a feel for them. And I think the biggest takeaway from that was just how good of people there are at Clemson, and Arch and company feel like that's a place where Arch could fit in. But it's the first visit, and he knows he's going to see first class things at a lot of other schools. But I think Clemson has certainly set the tone right away with Arch Manning in that first visit.
And you mentioned that it really could speak volumes that Manning made Clemson that #1 stop on the list. But this weekend, he's going to go visit Texas and SMU. For Steve Sarkisian in Texas, how important is this upcoming visit?
Well, I think when you're looking at the University of Texas football program and how can they go from a team that's in that 9 to 10 win range, maybe flirting with the New Year's Six Bowl, to, hey, we want to win a national championship again like Mac Brown and Vince Young did. It starts in a couple areas. They need an elite quarterback. It's been a long time since they've had a quarterback that's been selected extremely high in the NFL draft. So Arch Manning is a guy that certainly seems like he has that kind of potential. And then, obviously they need to get better at the point of attack. And Texas has struggled having defensive linemen and offensive linemen drafted over the last decade plus. And so that's a player development thing. But they need difference makers at those three spots, and Arch Manning would certainly fit the bill. And Coach Sarkisian's had a long-standing relationship with him going back to his time at Alabama, and I think Texas is one of the early contenders for Arch Manning as well. But beyond Texas and SMU, Manning wants to go out and visit Stanford and USC. He has a one-on-one call with David Shaw here on Tuesday. He wants to get up to the Midwest and see Notre Dame and Ohio State. They want to go see Virginia and North Carolina and several others. He's going to see Georgia and Alabama to round out the month. But again, as we said at the top here, Clemson gave him a great experience and something to compare these other visits to now moving forward.
A name we're not hearing on Manning's list is The Ohio State University. And speaking of the Buckeyes, the long-awaited Buckeyes Bash 2.0 is over. So tell me more about how it was in this weekend in Columbus. It looks like they may have a little progress with two of the best safeties in the country.
Yeah, absolutely. The 24/7 Sports crystal ball is trending towards Ohio State for Zion Branch, a top 5 player at the position out of Las Vegas. Bishop Gorman, a powerhouse program out west. Now, Zion Branch is looking at a few other schools. You got USC in there and Oregon, to name a couple. But Ohio State and their track record of producing players and getting them ready for the NFL draft, and then certainly what they've done on the field. And then on top of that, I don't think anybody does a better job at connecting with their top prospects than Ryan Day, Coach Combs and company. And so I think that Ohio State has done a terrific job in this recruitment. And they also offered his little brother, Zachariah Branch. These are two of the fastest, more explosive players in the country. His brother's a 2023 receiver. And I think they just had a great experience in Columbus. The other safety you're talking about is Xavier Nwankpa. He's the #1 safety in the country in the top 247 player rankings. Ohio State's battling Notre Dame, Texas A&M, Arizona State, Clemson, to name a few there. But again, Coach Day, Coach Barnes, Coach Combs and company, I think him and his parents had a great experience in Columbus, really fit in with the culture of that program. And Xavier's really built a rapport with a lot of Ohio State's commits. So Ohio State, they're just a hair behind Georgia right now for 24/7 Sports' #1 recruiting class. But this is the kind of weekend that could put them back on top.
Columbus is such a great little college town as well. So on Sunday, Walter Nolen, the nation's top D lineman, second best player in the country, tweeted out the following statement saying, "I would like to announce that I will be shutting down my recruitment and making a decision." So Steve, should Gator fans be popping the champagne?
Well, I think they should be excited that they gave Walter Nolen a good visit. And I think that, similar to Clemson and Arch Manning, maybe set the tone for what an official visit should look like. But I expect Nolen to take his other trips. He's got a visit to Michigan coming up. Alabama and Georgia certainly remain in the thick of this recruitment, as well as LSU. And so I think that was more of a tweet, that was just like, hey, I'm getting tired of the barrage of phone calls and everything, and I just need to take a minute. But Walter Nolen did have an outstanding visit to Florida. I think that he really enjoyed his time with the players, especially. And I think when kids go and visit Florida, they get a great vibe. I talked to several recruits that visited Florida over the weekend. 5-star receiver Evan Stewart, the #1 edge rusher in the top 247, Eni White, another 5-star athlete, Gentry Williams, who Florida's recruiting to play receiver. Those guys all just talked about what a great atmosphere and energy there was at Florida this weekend, and the Gators need it. They sit at number 25 in the 24/7 Sports recruiting rankings. Typically they hover around that 8 to 12 spot, but in the SEC, that still only puts you about 5th in the league. And so Florida's a program, in my opinion, that should be flirting with top 5 classes. That's where Alabama, Georgia, LSU, and Texas A&M are living. And this is the kind of weekend that if Florida can land the majority of the guys that visited this weekend, and everything coming out of Gainesville was exciting in that regard, that could elevate Florida into those heights that their SEC peers are recruiting at.
Yeah, Nolen would be a great ad in Florida. Steve, thank you so much for your time. For more from Steve, you got to check out top recruiting site out there, 24/7 Sports, the #1 player database in the market that's updated daily by a team of insiders to ensure that the most accurate information is listed with every single player profile. And if you're craving more, Max Preps, America's source for high school sports. Find rankings, stat leaderboards, schedules, scores, news, and more, all about your high school teams and players.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.